Hey everybody, welcome back to Champion Sons and our Formula One series following Sebastian Champion. Today we are in Bahrain, and this is definitely an interesting course. It provided us with some decent challenges, but I think we really started to get a good feel for our car in this one, and really overall how Formula One racing works as a whole. As I said before, the difficulty is still a little bit on the lighter side, mainly just because of not being experienced enough in racing games. So, as we progress along this season, definitely will be increasing the CPU difficulty on it. Right now, that's at about on the lower spectrum of the medium difficulty setting. The way it's done in the Formula One game is, like up to 25% is easy, then up to, 60% is medium, and above that you get hard and I guess expert, what have you. So we are in the lower end of the medium spectrum. Look forward to that moving on up. But this race is something that required us to have a lot of patience, and also cunning as far as making turns. This track is really designed to allow us to make certain cuts going in and out of these corners. And it was something that was really kind of a really fun race to run, first and foremost, but a great track to be on also. And, with the crew that we had going, the racers that were out there, it was intense from beginning to the finish. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of let the game commentators take it over from here to explain the track. So let's go ahead and jump into this Bahrain Grand Prix.
The stage is set for another enthralling race here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. A Ferrari stronghold in years gone by, but will they be able to add to their record today? Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36-mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some points during the Grand Prix. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no...
See what I mean? This track is something that it's got a lot of works to our advantages, for being the younger, not as wealthy team, but it definitely is something that we have to watch for. Like they said, the tire wear is one we got to be really concerned with, as that can completely destroy my race in a manner of an instant, not getting the tires changed appropriately and all that. So, taking a look, here we come at the starting grid, and how we go. We did manage to grab the pole, not by very much. As you can see, less than a second, we grabbed the pole starting position over Valtteri Bottas, and then comes your standard Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, then Renault with Ricciardo coming in behind us, still in the top 10 though. And then here comes Haas Racing, and then our teammate qualifying 20th, Giuliano Alessi, qualifying 20th. Not what we needed from him. I picked him up, like I said, because I think it's racing pace was up there, so we'll have to get him to improve. But let's go and get this one underway as the lights are about to go black and we are off in the number one pole position. We start out, we get a good jump on everybody. That was pretty much key for getting this race kicked off here, as we're going to take some of these corners, and like I said, finally learning that, hey, maybe hitting off these little, I guess, red and white striped areas, it makes it go brrr, but it, that's kind of how these cars are designed to withstand. These tracks are meant to be run on. I took that corner just a little bit too hard coming into it and slammed on those brakes too much. But look at this. These are smooth turns coming off, and let the car do the work. That's what we have to do here. Coming in, there are some sharp turns, but if you look, we have got a pretty decent lead already to start this race. We're not quite at a second yet, but we are getting pretty dang close to it, leading over the Mercedes teammates of Bottas and Hamilton. And then we have Ferrari with Vettel and Red Bull with Verstappen rounding out the top 5 positions. And this race was smooth. I cannot complain about it. Hitting these corners, that turn, it took me a little bit to get used to. There's some points of the race that, man, I almost flew through that way too much. Dang near wrecked the car and completely destroyed our positioning. But it was something that once I can get into the flow of these tracks, and that's really what a lot of it is, get into the flow of the track and you'll be able to make something happen. Also, stay out of the large groups. If we can stay out of those large groups, we'll be able to avoid damage to the car, avoid having to make as many pit stops like we did in our last race. Was that at the Melbourne in Australia? So that killed us last race. Being out front, having some space to work with, and this track I think is bigger. I'm not exactly sure. So it gives us more space for maneuverability, which is a big key for us right now, since one, our car is not the most reactive car in the world, but it does kind of react a little bit slower and can take damage at a lot greater pace than what we really need it to happen. And you saw me checking the tires right there, and they were already at around 13%. We're only on the second lap. And yeah, these are soft tires, but oh my goodness. I'm going to actually have to watch that coming into some of these braking sections right there. I cannot go through too many tire sets, and those pit stops will just kill us, especially when you have Hamilton right on your tail. Same thing with Bottas, Vettel, all those big-time teams. Once they get past you, it is almost impossible to try to get beyond them, especially in a wide-open track like this, where we can run free, but so can they. Now, coming around these corners, getting ready about halfway through the second lap. We're getting ready to come on the back half of it. We've kept a pretty good pace. Something I would like to see possibly improved a little bit coming around. I think we're about the same pace, if not a little slower than what we were the last time. Finishing up this second lap, maintaining first place through the 2 laps. Bottas, though, is hot on our tail, and he would eventually pass us as we catch up here on the 6th lap. Bottas moved ahead, has almost got a 2-second gap between us and them. And look, and this is what I mean by our tires. Our back ones all our tires are in the 30% wear, and that's why it's becoming a little bit harder to get the grip on these turns. That one, it bounced off, almost wrecked. It kind of been swinging around wildly here. Still keeping a good pace, but with the wear I have on these things, most of them being at a little over 30%, 35, you can just see he's widening the gap coming into all of these sections, and that's making it rather difficult. Hold on to that one. Coming around that sharp little curve, little almost 180-degree turn on there. Just not able to maintain it like we were at the beginning of the race, and so this is starting to become an issue. We're going to have to pit pretty quick, just with how much these things are worn down. And here comes this smooth section, little S-type turns coming into it, cutting them through, hitting it, but that last one, hitting the brakes way too hard. Bottas expanding his lead to over 2 seconds, and the gap is widening on us. Hamilton is also closing his gap at times. He's kind of accordioning back and forth between open and closed. His gap between us, but Vettel is right there with him. And so you see, now we are in the pit range. We do have a 2-stop pit strategy going on right now. The next set is going to be medium tires. I think that's what our next 2 sets are going to end up being, mediums. And that should be able to get us to the lap number 29. And so right now, just calling into my team that we're going to be boxing this lap coming into the pits. Let's get these tires changed. Let's take the position hit for now while it's still early enough in the race that we can catch back up to it as other teams begin to start their pitting process also. And that's one of the things that's kind of difficult to get used to on driving this game and driving these cars, is a communication with the team. If you see right above on the lower right-hand corner. That's where I have to tell them what's going on, get feedback on the race, look at my tires while we're driving. Now swing that one out wide too much, almost completely off the track. But that's how we have to check what's going on. It's not something where there's constant communication like you generally tend to get in the NASCAR heat game for the most part. But it's more accurate communication for both games as far as what happens. So hold it together. Man, it's barely got that one going. Still swinging the turn. These tires, I made the right decision in deciding to pit here at the end of this lap because these tires are just getting outrageous. And look, we're not getting that much closer. We're still maintaining about a second and a half behind Bottas. So, and Hamilton's starting to make his close in on us as well. This is the best decision. Let's go ahead and get into the pit. And I do love these pit stops. Seeing how quickly these things go, how fast they are. Oop, another team's getting ready to come in. I don't know who that one was. But there we are coming into our lane. Swinging it in. Stopping. Beep, beep. Oop, 2.5 seconds. Tires on. Getting out of there. Like my little sound effects. Beep, beep. I call that the air-powered tire thingy. That's what we're going with. Air-powered tire thingy. And coming out of these pits, the one thing about this track being so wide open is we only dropped 3 positions by that point. So we're on the 8th lap and we only dropped to 5th. So not too bad on that one. And now coming into the 9th place, we have dropped one more all the way down to 6th. But we're trying to work our way back up. We've got to get past Kvyat and Grosjean. And that's not an easy task, but we will be able to get past Kvyat. I don't know how to pronounce his name, that's my guess. Grosjean with Haas Racing. We're going to try to push it to him on the inside, and we will get moving and get going as we have got him cleared. Now look at the gap between 3rd, us, and Bottas. Ooh, barely held on to that. Now, that's what I meant before. Started kind of playing with these turns too much. Look at that gap. 8.5 seconds between us and 3rd place with Bottas, and then Ocon in 2nd. It's all over 8 seconds. I'm not sure how... I know the pit stop played a role and other guys getting on more fresh tires and coming in, but it was just one of those things. In my driving, for some reason, I started losing my grip on the track, and it wasn't the tires, it wasn't the car, it was me. It was the man with the sticks in his hand. I just couldn't hold it together. Just went on a bad run of a few laps, and I dropped all the way back, and I'm trying to work my way back up. But this is what I mean by patience. Closing these gaps is not something that's going to happen over time. We're right now on the 10th lap, coming into the beginning of it, and we still have some space to go. Now we catch up here in lap 12, coming around the midway point of this track. We have caught up to the leaders, Bottas and Ocon ahead of us, as we are trying to figure a way to squirm around them. The hardest part is holding your line, and these sharp turns almost ran into Ocon. But we're going to take it out wide and hold our position. Ocon's still there. As we finally will make it around, we get past Bottas. We got Ocon and Lance Stroll ahead of us, sending it into the corner, and he does bump us, but nothing too bad. Made us wave our hand at him because he's a bum. I tell you that much for dang sure. All right, so we are now in P2 on lap number 12, catching up to Stroll. And our car has been better than his from the very beginning. I don't think there's anything that should hold us back from being able to get past him in the next lap or two. So finishing up lap 12 in P2, almost 2 seconds behind the leader, trying to catch up. This is probably as rough at times as my driving has been. This has been generally our best race so far. Now, granted, we're only 2 races into the season, but still. This is the best one that we've done, best driving that we've had overall. Hitting these corners, almost coming in all green, maintaining track, position, and speed, cutting it around. We've closed the gap now in just half a lap to about half a second. So we've knocked 1 second off this time already. And it's just getting closer and closer. And Stroll, you are in our sights and you are going down, you bum. Hitting this hard. Ooh, almost hit him. Had to take it out wide. Cutting it back inside. Get moving. Hitting the gas. Put on the additional charge from the battery. Hit the DRS. We are flying now. almost lose a little bit of control coming into that corner, but maintaining it, luckily. Our tire wear, these are medium tires. They've only been on for a few laps, and you can already tell the difference. You know, the first set, the soft tires just wore down after about 2. You know, we're about 5-6 laps into this, and we are still maintaining a 19%. So we got a good driving pace and pattern going right now. Lap number 13 still. Coming to the end of it, about to reach the halfway point, as I like to call it, since it's a 29 lap race. About to be on lap number 14. Halfway there. As Stroll goes into the pit. That was a late pit stop, and now Bottas is on our keister. Coming into lap 18. He's still 3 seconds behind, and I'm not sure what happened, but Charles Leclerc for Ferrari, Stroll, and Albon for Red Bull are about half a minute behind us, looks like. Almost a whole lap at this stage of the game. We are just going to have to battle it out with Bottas, make sure he does not come up on us at all. Lap 18, maintaining first place, still getting the lead. Now, they only give points out, I think, for finishes. It's not like, once again, in NASCAR where you lead a certain number of laps, you get points. But it's all about the finish. And, you know, and thinking about that, we need this final pit stop. It'll cover us for about 10, 11 laps. And we're not the only team coming into the pits this go-around either. It looked like one of the Red Bull racing teams is going to be coming in. So we will pull into the pit. We got Bottas. Maybe that's who that was. That was Bottas coming in right behind us, as they are trying to make this final push as well. So this should be an interesting final segment of laps as we are heading out of the pit. And so is Bottas, right on our heels at this stage. Coming into these first turns, 10 laps to go, maintaining first position. And, man, we've got to drive almost perfectly if we are going to keep away from him. So we had about a 2-second gap, you know, literally 2 turns ago. Now he's already narrowed it down to 1 second. And he's maintaining right about there. That's what we need. We need to keep him just that far off, so if we do make a mistake, we can still recover and keep this P1 position. Coming around these turns, hitting them all in the green, driving almost flawlessly right now. But Bottas, I can just see him behind us. I can feel him behind us at this moment. Cutting that one in, maintaining, hitting the DRS. Actually, not really hitting that one, but I am keeping the overtake on, letting that extra power go. And this is going to be the last lap of the race. We have maintained the #1 position all the way through, ladies and gentlemen. Bottas has fallen back. I think he had a mechanical issue. He is at about 10 seconds behind us. So barring us doing anything stupid, we should be able to take this podium, this #1 finish, for the first time in our career and in our team's history. Here at Bahrain. Kind of swinging that one out wide. I cannot relax. If I do that, I'm going to spin my car out. Next thing you know, I'm probably going to end up in like 5th or 6th. As we hit some of these turns, now it's time to start driving smarter. Alright, that's what we have to do at this point. Just be smart about it. Cut these turns proper. Don't swing out wide. Don't risk it. There ain't no reason to risk it because we're already about to get you biscuit. That's all I'm saying. Kimi Räikkönen is out of the race. Oh, wonder what happened to him. I don't know. He's a bum. I don't like him. He's not on my team. Coming into these final few turns here, still in the first place position. Lap number 20. Yellow flag is out. What the hell? This is my finishing lap. You're going to take that from me because of stupid Räikkönen? All right, green flag. Never mind. Never mind. We are back at it. We're going to be hauling ass across this finish line here in just 1 second. That is going to be the final turn of this race as we are going to cross in first place, our first win of our career, and for our team ever. We got the fireworks here in Bahrain, P1, followed up by Bottas, and that looked like Charles Leclerc, one of the Ferraris behind us. How did how did he get driver of the day? Just because he started out so far back, you bum? We started out in first and we finished first. That makes us driver of the day as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what the game says. You bunch of dang bums. That's all I've got to say about that. Those fireworks going off. Here we are getting out of our car. Sebastian Champion driving for Champion Racing. Look at our crew. They are excited yet professional. That's what I expect to see from my team. Excitement yet professional. Here we are, standing on the podium above Bottas and Hamilton, beating Mercedes, taking them down a peg or two. That is how you do it. And while I'm thinking about that as we shoot champagne everywhere, if y'all haven't hit the subscribe button already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button if you did like today's video as well, because it really does help out the channel, and we do greatly appreciate that as well. So, all right, a little bit of a presser coming in afterwards. You took top points today. Was it a comfortable win? It was, but these answers always determine a whole bunch for your team. So we've got to see how this works out. Make sure we pick the right one to give everybody their due credit. You know what I mean? Powertrain department. We'll notice that. Well, thank you. You really look in control of your car. Your team must be thrilled. And I'm thrilled with their support during the race. This was for the fans. Always put on a good show. I couldn't do this without a great team behind me. That's definitely the best answer. So, all right. Well, this is where I'm going to leave y'all. Please do definitely join us for the next time, as I think we will be in Vietnam at the Vietnam Grand Prix. And once again, thank y'all for joining us. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see y'all then. So as always, everybody, stay safe, and well, you know how it goes. Later, y'all.